don't know my story. They don't know my story. Nope, they don't know my story.
This is a place where survivors can be seen and be heard and be loved and be free. A place where no judgment comes into mind. This is your moment to shine. People gon' talk, yeah. And haters gon' say what they wanna say. But keep doing you, girl. Cause there will be a brighter day. People gon' talk, people gonna talk, yeah. And haters gon' say what they wanna say.
Hey, tune in to my upcoming video on being a flight attendant in this pandemic. Learn my thoughts on having to be a flight attendant during the coronavirus. Enjoy! Hello. I am Alissa RACHELLE, also known as the Survivor Inspirationalist. And I am coming to you tonight from my hotel room in Colorado Springs. I wanted to do a quick video to talk about being a flight attendant during this coronavirus pandemic. So I have been a flight attendant going on 2 years now, and never in my short-lived career have lived something as this pandemic that we're going through right now. So being a flight attendant, what does that mean in this pandemic? What that means is we are classified as essential employees. And being classified as an essential employee means that we do not get to stay home during the shelter-in-place order. So we are frontline employees where we are filling in the gaps in some of those airplanes to make sure people get from A to B. So one of the questions that I get with being a flight attendant and with everything that's going on in the world and the pandemic of the coronavirus is, why are we still flying? That's the number one question that I get being a flight attendant. And so I just wanted to hop on here and explain to some of the people that may not understand why they haven't shut down all flying to all places. Now, regardless of staying at home and being required to stay at home, there are some individuals that travel for work. But more importantly, there are some individuals that have families in other places. For example, I'd like to tell you a story that I had shared on my social media. And there was a gentleman catching a flight, and he was running behind. And the captain got on the airplane and said, "We are not leaving without this passenger. I don't care if we're late. We're not leaving without this particular passenger." The man had entered the airplane and was crying hysterically because he had just found out that his family was in a car accident. And what he knew so far is one of his family members died on impact, and he wasn't sure about his child. Just imagine if we were not flying. Just imagine if that flight wasn't taking place, that he would have to stay home and live with the regret of not being able to get to his loved one in their time of need. So I shared that on my social media page because when you hear stories like that and you encounter people like that, and you're getting them to a place to be with their loved one that isn't here anymore, a child that may not live to see the next day, you understand why you're essential. You understand why all flying is not canceled, because there are circumstances where you have to get to where you're going and get there fast. Just imagine if he had to drive, how long that would have took. But the emotional state that he was in or would be in driving that far to get to his loved one. So I say all that to say this: before we make statements and judgments about why something isn't being done or why something is being done, we have to look at all circumstances and understand that there's a bigger purpose and a bigger reason outside of ourselves. I also would like to say that my heart goes out to all the many people that have been affected by coronavirus, that has died from coronavirus, but more importantly, the people that have lost somebody to this virus and to this pandemic. It hit us all of a sudden. A lot of people don't understand why it's important to stay home, why it's important to wash your hands, why it's important to wear a mask. But being an essential employee and on the front lines, every day I step onto that airplane, I am putting myself at risk. And more importantly, I'm putting my family at risk because I go home to them. And when I became a flight attendant, I was so excited. It was one of the most important things that I have ever done. But being in this seat of being an essential employee, I never knew that it would involve in being a frontline employee. Of course, I'm doing everything that I need to do to protect myself and stay safe. But as you read the stories and you read the news, to be honest, nobody's safe. So I just really wanted to hop on here and really talk about and help you understand why we're essential, why planes are still flying. Now, there have been a lot of cancellations to some places that are more affected than others, but there are certain places where people still need to get to go. There is still cargo that needs to go around the world. The good news is, even during the pandemic of what's going on, we are not seeing a lot of people flying, which that tells me that people are taking this seriously. They are staying at home, and I'm only seeing the people that essentially need to fly. But for the most part, I wanted to come on here because being a flight attendant during this time is very stressful. There has been a lot of my flight attendant brothers and sisters who have lost their jobs during this pandemic because the airline wasn't strong enough to stay afloat during this crisis. There are flight attendants that had to take a voluntary time off without pay just to keep their jobs. There are flight attendants that are remaining to work and on reserve basis, and reserve basis is an on-call basis, so not necessarily know what flights are going to work on day to day. I am grateful and I am blessed because my particular airline has done everything that they could to keep our jobs. So even though I don't like the circumstances maybe of what my schedule may be, but I am blessed and grateful to have a job working during this time. So I just want you to keep us in your prayers. Keep the flight attendants, the pilots, the first officers, and our managers, the people that owns the airlines or run the airlines that make these big decisions. Keep them in your prayers. Some of the decisions they're making aren't easy, but being a flight attendant during this time is stressful. And, it's very stressful because we don't know when we're going to step on an aircraft and deal with an infected passenger because, just like as we know, that a person may not know they're sick until after the fact, or they're not showing any symptoms. So that's the risk that we take every day flying. So I come to you and I ask you to keep me and my flight sisters and my flight brothers and the pilots and the first officers in your prayers. We are frontline employees. We are essential employees. But to be honest with you, if we didn't love what we do, it would be a tough decision. And I mean, some of us had the decision presented to leave, quit, or, simply not do this anymore. But most of the flight attendants that I have came across and ran into have decided to continue to do what they love. And even some of the flight attendants that had to take a voluntary leave of absence, they're coming back in 3 months, 6 months, maybe 12 months in hopes that things will get better. I just wanted to take the time to say that I appreciate each and every one of my followers. I just wanted to come on here and just really share about being a flight attendant during this time. But I encourage you, if you're able to, stay home, stay safe, continue to wash your hands, continue to wear masks when you go out, continue to wipe down, if you're flying, your seat. Of course, I feel like the airlines have taken big measures in wiping and sanitizing the airplanes, and I'm grateful to them for that. But it's never, never, never a pain to be safe. And so I encourage you to be safe. I encourage you to pray. I encourage you to take care of yourself and be cautious. I encourage you to just mainly stay home. If you are able to and you can, I encourage you to stay home. Again, my deepest and heartfelt and sincere condolences to everybody that has lost someone due to this pandemic. But I just want to say, take care. I'll be back to do some more videos. And I just want you to definitely say a prayer for the airline industry. We need you. We need your support and we need your prayers, because when you think about it, it's just not us, it's our families as well. When we do this job, our families goes through this job with us. So I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for watching. And I just want to say, stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. Press the like button and hit subscribe. You will have more videos coming from Alissa Rachelle. And I thank you very much for tuning in and watching.